Welcome to the Extra Pass presented by Melbourne United. I'm your host, Ben Hopkins, joined as always by my co-host, Adam Ballinger. Balls, how are you?
I'm doing great. I still haven't thought of a cool thing to say here, but I'm doing quite well, young man.
Young man? I'm not younger than you.
20 years younger than I am.
Just doing the maths. Not quite, but
close
enough. And we're joined here by someone even younger than me, Balls. I don't know what you're going to call him, but we're joined by a new Melbourne United signing, superstar Luke Travers. Luke, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. It's an honour, and I'm a fan as well, so it's cool to be here.
Big fan. We were talking before the podcast. You know, he watches them on YouTube rather than just listening to them. He wants to see all the action. You know, you can't just get it all via audio.
You got to see our faces. We got real good TV faces. How old are you, Luke?
21, almost 22 next month.
21. You can drink in America now.
Yeah, I can.
You probably had a few celebratory drinks after winning the Summer League championship.
Maybe. We'll get to that. We don't want to step on future questions. But is this the youngest? Are you the youngest guy on the team?
No, not on the team. Youngest guest we've had.
Youngest guest. That's what I meant.
Yeah. Tanner was previous youngest guest.
All right. Well, I don't know. We should get him a T-shirt or something.
Luke, obviously so exciting having you come down to United after your years in Perth. What's it been like, you know, making the transition and just, you know, embracing the city of Melbourne?
I mean, it's been very different. Obviously, like still, you know, 21-year-old moving over from Perth it's a big deal, but it's been nothing but cool, and I've tried to make the most of it, just experiencing the city and stuff, been out to a couple footy games, and then just, you know, checked out the city, going out for dinner and stuff. So it's been super cool. And the team's been nothing but welcoming as well, which always helps. So smooth sailing so far, and hopefully that continues on throughout the year as well. So looking forward to it.
Have you been to the cool hit places for dinner, or did you just walk and find one?
Yeah, no, I've just been to Chinatown. That's about it. So
Chinatown's good. You always find something good in Chinatown.
Yeah.
But what was it like? I remember when I moved out, I sort of had a very quick move out of home for work. What was that like for you, ostensively being like, oh, okay, I'm in Perth, I'm very comfortable, and now I'm in Melbourne and I'm by myself?
I think it was still pretty quick. I want to say maybe 2 weeks before I went out to America. Pretty much signed the deal and stuff, and then went out there and spent 2.5 months out in America, and then from there to here, and haven't been back to Perth since. So it was pretty quick, but I think that's probably the best way to do it as well, not to dwell on anything back home before heading out as well.
Not to dwell on it, but what's the biggest thing you missed just from having like family around? I remember mine was like, changing sheets, changing linen. Something I just never thought about.
Yeah, even to this day, I'm still calling my mum before I do a load of washing and stuff, trying to figure it out. But yeah, I think it's just having that sort of finishing training, you come home to family and friends and stuff. So that's always been a little bit different, but they're super supportive and always a phone call away as well. So it's been cool.
Feeding yourself was always the hardest thing I thought of. Moving out of home and you're on your own. We went to college, and you're very pampered in college as far as like getting your food and everything. Everything's always there for you. You rarely have to like go very far to like even figure out what you're eating. Then when I got here, and I was 23, so I didn't have much of an excuse for not like doing dishes and all that kind of stuff. But I would, it was always just a pain in the ass to get food. I was just like, just give me a pill. I just wish I didn't have to worry about eating food. It's just like, you realize I got to eat all the time. Like when there's no food in front of me, what am I going to do? I used to drive past McDonald's on the way home from practice every day, get 4 cheeseburgers.
What?
4 cheeseburgers and a large Fanta, so that I could have my lunch or whatever it was at that time done by the time I got home, so I could take my nap.
You know, Uber Eats it's very big.
There's no Uber Eats back then. Yeah.
But surely, I mean, Luke, I know you're a young guy, probably trying to bulk up. You're looking to play the 4 position, but I reckon 4 cheeseburgers
that'll
on
do
the
it.
not on the menu.
That'll bulk you up. Not the right way, but that'll do it.
And I think you're down sort of St Kilda way. How are you enjoying that part of the city?
I mean, it's been super easy. Like everything's just a walk away, which saves the getting in the car and stuff. So it's been real easy. I'm learning to cook at the same time, which has been good. But yeah, at the same time, it's pretty easy out there.
What's the go-to meal?
Man,
don't say pasta.
No. It is chicken pesto, whether it's pasta or a sandwich. That's the go-to, and it's real good.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Well, Balls, when you came out here, I know you're obviously, maybe leaning towards the fast food, but what was your go-to, like, oh, I need to eat something quick, what can I make quickly?
Cheeseburgers, we already talked about that. I Midwestern kid, I had no culinary, like I just, no palate, no nothing. I just, there's a Topolino's down the road. I lived on Fitzroy Street, so in St. Kilda. Yeah, like I would eat pizza sometimes pasta. Sometimes I discovered Maltesers. Sometimes I just have a bag of Maltesers at the end of the day. I didn't want to leave the house. But no, I don't venture very far when it comes to food. Just whatever is easiest.
LT, you reckon the nutritionist would be fine if you were just like, oh yeah, I just had a bag of Maltesers for dinner?
Yeah, no, probably not. But yeah, I wouldn't mind that at the same time.
Yeah, no nutritionist back when I was. Our nutritionist was probably also our physio, also the masseuse, everything. Like, there's only one person.
Well, a couple of St. Kilda boys. Maybe we do a special on the road episode of the Extra Pass. You two, just maybe a food tour of St. Kilda.
Yeah, just like we go to McDonald's, we go to Topolino, all this stuff. It's like as basic as you could get.
Well, it's so exciting to have you here, Luke, and we're going to get into a bit about why you came down and a bit about the team after the break.
Melbourne United memberships are on sale now. Lock in your seat for the most exciting show in Australian sport and guarantee you're there for every highlight across this next season. To find out more, go to membership.melbourneutd.com.au.
And we're back on the Extra Pass podcast presented by Melbourne United with our special guest, Luke Travers. Luke, it was a massive move for you to come down here, and I guess probably not an easy one, not an easy decision for you to make. I know you've spoken about it in interviews and on the radio and just talking to people about, wanting a larger role, but can you maybe go into what was so appealing about coming here and playing with Melbourne United?
I think just getting out of my comfort zone at the same time was a big thing for me, just to be able to take that next step in as a young kid, and to be out here with the opportunity that I've been given, like on the court and off the court at the same time, to be able to further develop my game, come in here whenever I want, but then also not have that comfort of going home to family, rather than going home and focusing on something else, whether it's individually just cooking or something, or whether going back to the gym and stuff, like just little things like that to be able to further develop my game was. Yeah, I want to say the main factor for making this move. But everything's been good so far, and hopefully can get more used to it and make the most of it.
When picking a team like United, how much went into it just thinking like, okay, who's got the best pieces around me? What coaching staff, is going to best suit my game? Obviously, United runs a lot through the four-man, through the forward position. We've seen that with Mason did a lot of it last year, same with DSav, same with Jack White, obviously was very successful doing it. Can you speak to, I guess, what were the things that made United so appealing?
Yeah, like you said, that, but also just the staff and then also the players at the same time. Like Dean's obviously someone that's built that reputation of getting the best out of his players. You've seen that with Jack White. So I think that was definitely a big part of it. But then also the people around you, like CG, now to have Delhi as well, and then Shilly as well. Like just guys that you can learn off so much. And then like also on the court to be able to play with them. I like to play make, and obviously they're pretty good shooters at the same time, so everything just sort of worked out.
Yeah, even at practice and on the court, we've seen you with the ball in your hands a bit more, running a lot of the offense. What's that been like? You say you like to play make, but how nice is it to just know that, okay, Dean's got the faith just to put the ball in my hand and let me make decisions? For
sure, and then also comes with that is he's letting me make mistakes at the same time, which is always helpful as well. And to be able to have that sort of role is something that I was looking for, and I'm still figuring it all out. It's going to be a bit of a process, but come game one, I think it'll be pretty good.
I know you're just here, you haven't been here for that long, but as a team, what do you think you guys can achieve this year? Just from your surroundings and your teammates, and as little as you know right now, but this is always a hard question to answer to as a player, because what are you going to say other than, well, we're going to win a championship? But for me, first being here is like everything centers around winning a championship. So even the people in the front office to the people, players on the court, the coaching staff is. Do you think that's achievable just from the time that you've been here?
Yeah, for sure. I think I'd be saying the wrong thing if I didn't. But like seriously, I think we do have the right pieces. But it's going to be a slow process. And I think we're just trying to focus on preseason at the moment. get everyone in and familiar with everything, and then hopefully, that's the end goal for sure.
Yeah, kind of a leading question. You're right. I don't think you'd say no after that either.
But I guess when you look at the guys that you listed who are on this team, you've got boomers, legends, and people who have really paved the way in Australian basketball, like Chris, like Delhi. What's it like for you as a young kid coming in and seeing guys that you probably looked up to an extent, whether they be, because of Chris's track record in the NBL or Delhi in the NBA? What's it like coming in and joining a team with them?
It's obviously, I'm still 21, like I said, and it's still nerve-wracking at the same time. You don't want to screw up in front of them, but since I've been here, it's been real good. They're letting me make mistakes, and then also learning from it as well. But obviously, when the game comes, they're going to be a little bit harder on me, but that's what I want, and that's a big reason why I came here, obviously with them guys, but also Dean's like that as well. So, looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, we spoke to, when we had Chris on the show, one of the things he spoke about was this group that's come in, it's a good mix of experience and youth, but everyone is always ready to hold each other accountable and everyone just wants the best out of each other. So as a new guy coming in, and especially a young guy coming in, how important is it for you to, I guess, not be timid and to not be afraid to, I don't want to make a mistake. Delhi's done X or Chris has done Y, and I don't want to make a mistake to ruin that.
Yeah, obviously it's hard, and I feel like every sort of kid and player goes through that. But that's just the type of people they are. It sort of allows you not to worry too much about that. If you do it, they'll let you know, but they'll also, come up with things that you can do instead, or just give you a positive outlook on it as well, it's super helpful. And we've got a bunch of young guys that are just going out there and playing hard. And I think that's a big part of it as well, just playing hard and playing your role. And that's going to get you a far way as well.
Yeah, you've, you got some, you touch on the young guys we've got, and you've had some experiences with them, obviously playing against them in the NBL, but even going way back, like I was talking to Zach, you would have played against him in 2018 Nationals. Do you have any memories of a skinny shooter coming off the bench for Metrovic?
Yeah, a little bit. I remember having to focus a little bit more on the scout on him, and he torched us one game as well. So it's super cool to have guys like that, even KB as well, who I grew up playing with as well. So, and then Chancey as well, who I started. My first, what they call NBL 1 now, was SBL back then, and he was one of my assistant coaches. So going back then to when I was a 15-year-old kid, and now, playing at NBL level with them, it's super cool.
Yeah, you touch on those connections. I've actually got a mailbag question here from a fan called Jacob, and he said, who is your favourite coach from Rockingham?
They're all, really good. Obviously, Chancey's got he's still very young and a pretty good coach. So I definitely say he'd be up there. But then also Ryan Petrick as well, who's now with the Lynx. Rocco is doing very well in NBL 1 West. So I definitely think those two would be the main ones.
Right answer, because the Jacob that sent in that mailbag question was Jacob Chance.
Thought so. Makes sense.
Fast.
And one of the guys you played with in that Nationals 2018 was obviously Luke Jackson. I wanted to throw this one for you just to pander to the Victorian audience, the AFL-loving audience. If you had to put together only AFL players, a basketball starting five,
yep,
can you put it together?
Briefly, maybe. I think I've put Pendles at the 1. I've heard some good things about him.
Does Pendles have a basketball background?
He might. No one's ever talked about it.
Oh, okay.
I'd go Petrarca at the 2. That's sort of where I draw the line. Obviously, Luke Jackson at the 4. And then there's a couple guys at Melbourne, I think, that have a basketball background as well.
Could throw Mason Cox in. He played.
Yeah, I'll put him at the 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many big guys that play. I'm always surprised if you see a team walking by or you're in the same facility of how tall they are. They are big, but it's one of those things, if you don't grow up playing basketball, you could give them one and they might dribble it off their foot right away just because it's not something they're used to.
Sure.
It's not like footy where it's super easy to pick up and it's just like you just kick ball and try to pick it up off the ground and just kick it and that's it.
Were you a natural footy player when you came over balls?
No, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I still don't know what's going on. I know a little bit more now. Big Essendon fan here. But it does look like 36 guys trying to pick up a ball that doesn't bounce right. Just constantly trying to pick the ball up off the ground. That's the whole game.
Did you play much footy growing up?
I did until I was about 15. That's sort of where I had to decide between basketball and footy. And I want to say I made the right decision.
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. Where were you playing?
Like position?
Yeah, position.
Yeah, I was like, man, a bit of everything. Mostly the ruck.
Humble brag. Oh, I just played everywhere.
Mostly the ruck, but was in the middle a little bit, and then also centre half forward as well.
Were you one of those kids who just sort of hit their growth spurt at 15? It's just like, oh, well, you have to put him in the
I was a
ruck.
late bloomer for sure. I was the tallest early, and then it was about 15, 16. I broke my finger, put on a bit of weight, didn't grow, and then everyone else grew, and then maybe like a year later, just all of a sudden grew to like 6'2", 6'3", and that's sort of where it all took off for me.
How old were you when you were 6? How old was it? 6'2", 6'3". How old were you?
I want to say around 17, 18.
Really?
Yeah.
So you were late bloomer.
But you've even
yeah.
since got
growing.
bigger from there.
Yeah.
Much
My
bigger.
growing was
Bigger.
Yeah.
Huh.
Very weird.
What'd you do? You got any
I
tricks?
was
There's a lot of kids out there that are 6'2", 6'3", that would like to shoot up 6 inches.
I got the
5.
flu really bad, and was in my bed for like 3 days. And then I remember coming back out, and like my parents literally thought I grew like 2 inches, like just from that.
That's amazing.
But yeah, it is crazy. Like my mum's maybe 5'3", my dad's 5'11" on a good day as well.
Really?
So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
What are you listed as? We're gonna go shoes on listing.
I think 6'8".
6'8".
Yeah. And my brother's 6'3". My sister's probably 5'9". So
Wow.
it is a bit weird, but not complaining.
I just want to make it clear we're not encouraging kids go out and get the flu to
Yeah.
try and grow.
What drugs did they give you?
Yeah, and I want to touch on another guy that we've just announced is joining in Ian Clark, obviously a guy you've gone against in this league for the past 2 years, having come in mid-season. What do you think he brings to this group? Obviously, he looks like he's sort of an elite connector and someone that's going to make some big shots and be able to make the people around him better.
Yeah, I think the results show for it. He's already won an NBL championship as well as an NBA championship. So he's obviously a winner, but obviously a lights-out scorer, which is sort of what Dean was looking for. But then also just seems like a really good guy as well, which is always helpful. And I feel like we've surrounded our team with those type of guys. So I think he will fit right in, and then also just try and learn from him as much as possible as well. Obviously being at the next level, and that's where I want to get to. So I think that'll be extremely helpful for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, not only having Delhi, who's an NBA champion, but bringing in someone like Ian, how much do you try and be a sponge and learn off those guys as you're looking to make that next level and make the leap to the NBA?
Yeah, I think every day it's going to be like that, learning as much as possible. Obviously, even on the road and stuff, like just being able to share those type of things with them, and then also start conversations. It would be super easy, and yeah, looking forward to it all.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to our next segment. It's Fast 5 with Balls, and we're going to get to that after this break.
Want to stay up to date with everything happening in Melbourne United? Download the Melbourne United app today. Filled with videos, audio and articles about your favourite team, it's the one-stop shop for everything Melbourne United. Download the Melbourne United app via the App Store on iOS or the Google Play Store on Android.
And we're back on the Extra Pass podcast presented by Melbourne United, and it's time for Fast 5 with Balls.
Ready?
This is Fast 5 with Balls.
Been waiting for this the whole time. Now we're on to the fun stuff. Yeah, they're hard hitting, so I hope you're ready.
All right, everybody's favorite segment. Now, full disclosure, I walked in at 1 because, I was doing other things. I have other jobs besides just this podcast, unfortunately. But I thought I had time to write some questions down because if you tell a basketball player 1 o'clock after practice, come on up, they get here about 1:45. But he was on time before me, so I did these quickly. But they're still good questions. So if you don't think they are, please write in. Do we have any place to write in or Twitter or anything?
media@melbourneutd.com.au.
Okay.
Send your own questions in as well.
Yeah. Send questions in, and not for me. I got my own questions. It's not Fast 5 with all the people out there on the internet. But for the other part, you can send questions in. Okay. All right, Luke. So I've always wondered, what happens, especially a guy who's in Australia and Perth, a long way away from America. What happens when you get drafted? Like if you would have been, like a lottery pick or something like that, you're there. But what happens when you just get a call, and like, hey, you're ours, and then you don't hear from them for like 2 months, or do they fly you over? Do they meet you? What's the process of that?
It was just a phone call from my agent saying, welcome to the NBA. That was about maybe a minute before the pick got announced. Once that got announced, a call from one of the coaches, like it would have been like 20 minutes after, just pretty much saying congrats. And then they tell you a little brief plan, which was fly over to Cleveland about a week later. And then straight into that was a couple days, just individuals. And then straight from there to summer league training and stuff. So it was pretty quick, but also a little bit different to, like a lottery pick and stuff like that.
Yeah, imagine it. Pretty exciting. Oh, like a whirlwind.
How emotional was that moment?
Yeah, exactly.
It was very. I was on the phone with my mum and dad, which was super cool to. I mean, it's obviously not the best scenario. You'd rather have them in person, but I mean, technology is obviously pretty good at the moment. So to be able to have that was still cool.
So were you in the States or were you in Perth?
I was in the States, so I was still working out and stuff, and I was just in a house in LA, just watching it by myself, but obviously with the parents over the phone as well. So yeah, it wasn't too bad.
House in LA by yourself.
Yep.
Jeez.
Balls, if that was
That's
you,
not quite the party. No,
you were just having 4 cheeseburgers on the way home. I can't imagine how many cheeseburgers you would have had.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have had a party, but it would have been nice to. Yeah, I would have had a few cheeseburgers to celebrate, I guess. And then during the year, how often do you hear from them? You know what I mean? Like, are they keeping tabs on you really close, or just every now and then, or just that's it? You don't hear from them until next year.
No, it is every now and then, maybe like once a month. I want to say is a good one, but they're coming out for pre-season and stuff, and then someone else makes a trip out during the year as well. So it's really cool to have that and get that type of feedback as well at the same time is always helpful. So it's pretty frequent.
Yeah, that is cool. I didn't know that. It's like kind of like it's more pressure though. Not to put pressure on you. I mean, you've already played under a ton of pressure up to this point, anyways. But now you got like 2 coaches. You got 2 people telling you what you did right or wrong. Okay, moving on. All right, now the arm tat, the barbed wire. Love it. Old school with like a new flair. It's nice and thick and big, and you don't have that many of them either, so it sticks out too. It looks like you got more though, since I didn't even know you got some new stuff.
Yeah, it's starting to fill up a little bit.
Yeah, I know. Do you have plans? Like, what are your plans tattoo wise? How did you get what were the thought process behind the barbed wire? And like, are we going full body? Are we like connected or just random ones, kind of like the bear?
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna sort of little spot ones. But the barbed wire, a lot of people have said like the Pamela Anderson and stuff like that.
Before this, I was gonna name a bunch of 90s celebrities that had the barbed wire.
Yeah, right.
But I didn't have time, as we already talked about.
Yeah, no, as I researched it a little bit, it was just a men's mental health thing. Obviously, I didn't realize how many people have actually already had it. But yeah, that's sort of the reason why I got it.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like your trademark. Like when you do some shoes with Nike, you get your own. That's got to be like your logo. At least, the Travers ones got to have barbed wire going across the back.
Lock it in.
Tell them I'll help you design it and get me in on the team.
We'll do.
They've been out of it. All right. Next we got Vegas Summer League. All right, it's in Vegas. It sounds cool, although I'm guessing it's a lot more work than people see or think. Tell us something about Summer League that we wouldn't know, and then do you get much off time? Like, are you playing the roulette table every night, or you just eating and going to bed?
It is definitely a little bit more chilled than a lot of people think. I'm not much of a gambler or a partier, so most of the nights I just spent playing FIFA on my PlayStation or stuff like that. But I remember the year before, we obviously didn't do that well, and there was a couple guys going out getting drunk before the day before a game and stuff, which was, obviously you do what you want to do, but it was a little bit different and definitely unexpected for sure. Like, I think he got back in at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had training at like 8. So,
jeez. Yeah,
I don't know how people do it, but yeah, obviously you do what you want to do as well.
Yeah, some people can do that. I never could do anything like that, but so it is. So you're saying it's busier. You get free time, or it's
I mean, I think for us it was a little bit different just because we were winning so much. We had a lot of days off, but like you pretty much train on the off days. You train in the morning and then the rest of the day is yours. And same with the games. Once you play, it's all yours as well. So there's a lot of free time to, you know, go out and see Vegas and stuff. And I had my family there at the same time, which was, real cool to be able to share that with them and go and sightsee at the same time. So it was real cool.
Wasn't it like unbelievably hot this year though?
Yeah, it always is, which is one of the reasons I cut the mullet as well. Obviously,
really?
I've skipped every winter for the last 2 years, and being out in Vegas was 45-degree heat, and it was way too hot for, you know, a long mullet as well.
Well, I just want to quickly jump in, Balls, if you don't mind. We got another mailbag question that sort of jumps in on this. Tom sent one in saying, we famously saw Chris shave his head when he had the long hair for charity. Would you ever consider doing the same thing?
Yeah, and I thought about it. I didn't know if I wanted to go the full way of shaving it, but yeah, it's definitely an option to, you know, grow it back and then eventually shave it off for charity as well. So it's definitely, definitely open to it as well.
I know some people put in some pretty big bids to like have CG's ponytail.
Really?
So maybe someone will put in a big bid just to get the luscious locks.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be open to it, depending on how much money it rolls in for charity.
We could put one strand in each pair of like the Travers ones. We could put like also a strand of hair. That doesn't go to charity though. That's our profit.
Yeah, you're really just pushing this shoe angle. It's like, how can I make money?
All right. Okay, we got a basketball one. Hoopers you watched growing up, all right? Your favorite NBA, like NBA guys in the NBA that inspired you, or even in the NBL too, or just even like some local guys, or because growing up, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, was it? Like if you're 21, that'd be about 10 years ago. You're 11 years old.
Yeah, I want to say LeBron James, a huge LeBron guy, definitely the GOAT for sure. But then also just growing up, going to Wildcats games, James Ennis was just rolled over, and that was an unbelievable sort of atmosphere that he brought. I remember going to the game where he jumped over someone and dunked it, which was, it was a dream come true at that point. So I definitely think, LeBron's the main one, but growing up was James Ennis locally as well.
Did you go to many Perth games growing up?
I did, quite a bit, as much as I could. But then a lot of the times I played like games later in the night back in Perth, and then they'd be on straight after that as well. So I just have memories of that as well, which was super cool to eventually go on and play for them at the same time. Yeah,
nice. Perth is a tough place to play. Mm-hmm. It's a good. I mean, the atmosphere is nuts. It really is. In the old Challenge Stadium and the new one, they're different type of atmosphere, but it is. It's a pretty special place.
Is it exciting as someone who's only played for your hometown club and obviously a cool environment at RAC? But is it exciting to now have this whole new set of fans and a whole new arena to just experience?
For sure. And I remember it was a tough time to come to John Cain Arena and try and win a game there. So to now be on the good side of it, I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. So it'll be a lot of fun.
All right, last one. Okay, you say you're out here on your own, so you probably got plenty of extra time. Don't go out much. You got to be watching some TV series. What are you watching? You got a TV series on the go? You got any favorite go-tos that you come back to?
Yeah, I've got a lot. At the moment, I just finished Night Agent, which is on Netflix, which is pretty good. But the go-tos, Stranger Things, Outer Banks, Money Heist was real good. I'm looking forward to the new season of that. I'd say those are the main three that I can think of off the top of my head. I feel like I'm definitely
it's a hard question. It's like saying your favorite movie, and there's like probably 10 or 15. Yeah. Stranger Things. I'm a Stranger Things fan. You know, that's based in Indiana. I'm from Indiana.
Yeah, right. I didn't even know that.
I can sign something for you later if you want. Have you watched it a couple of times?
Yeah, a couple of times, and even just the last episode, because it's pretty much a movie. It was like 2 hours long.
I know, the last season, like every episode is like an hour long.
I don't want to expose myself. I only ever watched the first season.
Really? You watched first season and didn't, it's just like, no, not for me.
I think we watched like the first episode of the second season, and for some reason, I think I might have been watching something else and just like didn't stick.
Yeah, it's good. I've got a daughter though who was super into it, so that helped me get through it. But yeah. All right, good stuff, Luke. Thank you.
Cool.
when you were watching Stranger Things, were you just like getting more ideas for like the mullet or?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true. Yeah.
He's actually from Perth as well.
Oh,
Really?
that
Which
guy.
is,
Yeah.
Dacre Montgomery. So
Oh, what a connection we got right now. We
yeah,
didn't
even
know
like
this.
last year at Summer League, he like reposted something on his story when Bleacher Report like put out a little clip of my mullet as well. So that was super cool to have that.
Yeah,
Obviously,
that is
a
pretty
Stranger
cool.
Things fan as well.
But you never met him or anything like that.
Nah.
We got to get him a United
Yeah, no,
jersey.
it'd be pretty easy to hook
You're
that
right.
one up, I think.
Yeah,
Let's hook him up. If you're listening, we'll get you a jersey.
love that.
Yeah, well, thanks for those questions, Balls. And thank you for coming on, Luke. It's been awesome getting to know you and so excited to get through the rest of this preseason and then get to round 1, September 28.
Cool. Thanks for having me. Privilege.